basically my only win condition here would be to go for Ancient Power and hope to get the boost. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we do upload daily PvP content, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Corley Way, thank you for the support. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a team featuring Machamp with a Giratina lead. When you look at this team, there should be one thing that stands out right away: double weak to Charmer. So Giratina and Machamp both really weak to Charm, so if we see a Charmer in the lead, pretty rough. I usually stay with Giratina and just throw 2 Shadow Sneaks. Don't know if there's any of those in this video, but that's usually how I play that out. This team is really based on Giratina being such a good lead Pokemon. In my opinion, it is the best lead in Open Ultra League because it wins so many matches and it could really put you in a position to win with your backline. So let's get into these matches right now. Alright, so first matchup, we're going up against Rankar 007. And I'm going to be leading Giratina here. Giratina Altered Forme, one of the best leads in my opinion, and I do this based on what I see the most. I've been seeing a lot of Scavaliers, a lot of Melmetals, a lot of Cresselias. Giratina does well against all of them, so I'm leading that. Opponent switches out into Snorlax, and here comes the Machamp. Obviously an amazing situation for us to be in here. And Machamp works pretty well against this meta, to be honest. There is a lot of Registeals, a lot of Snorlaxes, a lot of Steel types, so Machamp is pretty good. Now we're going to throw this Cross Chop here. He's going to let it go through, so he should be able to counter down. Have a bit of energy now. And he comes back in with a Scavalier, which is actually amazing for us because Machamp has a really good matchup here against a Scavalier. So we're going to do a lot of damage here. And the opponent is actually going to be forced to shield up here because we get to Cross Chop so quickly. So at this point he either has to shield or he's basically going to let the Scavalier go down really low. Decides to shield that up. And you can see that we almost took out the Scavalier. He committed to a farm now, but I could just bring in the Giratina here. He brings in Lapras. So what I'm going to do here is throw a Shadow Sneak and then bring in the Articuno. Now obviously Articuno isn't a counter for Lapras, but we do have 2 shields, so it's not as bad. And we did get a bit of a health lead in a sense by throwing that Shadow Sneak. So this isn't the worst matchup. Definitely gonna have to burn some shields here, but I'm letting this first one go through because I assumed it was a Surf. Ice Beam is gonna do a bit more damage, but Surf is still going to add up obviously. And I'm just gonna go straight Ancient Power here because if I get the boost, it's pretty much game over. But even without that, Ancient Power is going to do a bit of damage to Lapras, and I don't necessarily need the debuff on the attack because he's gonna switch out to his Scavalier anyways at some point. And when he does that, I'm going to have to bring in the Giratina to tank the damage from the Scavalier. Because remember, my Giratina has a lot of health. So the lower I put this Lapras, the better. Now I'm building up for a move. He's going to switch out into a Scavalier. And it actually counters me down before I could throw that Charge Move. So that's a bit unfortunate. But that, in a sense, is actually a blessing in disguise. Because that's going to allow me now to actually build up a lot of energy on this Giratina, which I'm going to need in order to knock out this Lapras. So Lapras comes back in here. I actually go for the Shadow Sneak, which is a mistake. Dragon Claw does the same amount of damage for less energy, so you should definitely be going for Dragon Claw in this situation. And now I have my shields for these Ice Beams. Obviously I wasn't going to shield anything the Scavalier through because I need them for this Lapras right here. And you can see we're actually going to beat it to the Dragon Claw, knock it out with the shield, so the opponent backs out and we take that match. Next match against the Wolf Pack. Shout out to the NWO, Hulk Hogan, and Giratina here into Gengar. So Gengar is not that popular in the open version of Ultra League, so very nice to see that lead. Switches into Granbull. Obviously I only have one switch here, it's Articuno, because Machamp's going to get destroyed, and Giratina also doesn't want to face this Granbull. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Sneak like the last matchup and then switch out into Articuno here. And this is actually a Snarl variant of Granbull, so this is a bit worse because it throws a lot of damage towards us. I didn't realize that at the time I switched out, I thought it was Charm, but he throws a close combat, I let that go through. And this second close combat here actually would not KO, but I'm going to choose to shield this. And the main reason I'm going to choose to shield this is because I have so much energy that I don't want that ult to go away. So I'm going to shield and throw back-to-back Icy Winds at this Gengar now. And let's see if the opponent chooses to shield. He lets the first one go through, but I'm going to get to a second one because he switched out right away, so he doesn't have any energy. This time he's going to be forced to shield, and this incredibly high attack stat on Gengar is going to be double debuffed now, which is really good for us. And now Gengar is going to throw energy. I'm going to let this go through. Sludge Bomb's going to knock me out. Him having Sludge Bomb makes me think he probably doesn't have Shadow Ball, so he's probably running Shadow Punch and Sludge Bomb most likely. I'm going to bring in the Giratina here obviously. And look at this, he has a Togekiss. So we are in quite the situation here. Like last match we faced Lapras, this match we're facing Togekiss. I can't switch out into Machamp here. So what I'm going to do is actually just throw as many Shadow Sneaks as I can at this Togekiss. Switch out after this second Shadow Sneak here. I hope he doesn't shield. Or does he have any shields left? I can't recall. I don't think he has any shields left. Oh, he has one. Okay, so that was really good for us. And now I have to get the shield bait here. Now I was panicking. I could get to Rock Slide, but I just need the shield. Hopefully he does not know this is only a cross chop because I need the shield here. He does shield that. And if he didn't shield, he might have been able to farm down with cross chop damage anyways. So shield was probably necessary there. And now I have my shield saved for the Giratina that comes back in. Have to shield this up even though it's likely an ancient power. And he's going to switch into Gengar. We're going to farm that down. Togekiss is going to come back in. We're going to farm down with Shadow Claw. And we're going to get out of a very tricky spot there against a full health Togekiss against two Pokemon that are extremely weak to it. And we pull out that win. The Gunner is next in match number 3. And leading Giratina into the Melmetal. So again, as you can see, Giratina wins so many leads. It is so good in Ultra Premier as a lead Pokemon. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Sneak here. Usually the Melmetal will beat us to the first charge move with Rock Slide, but it looks like he's over farming a little bit, which might mean he's planning to switch out. So he's staying in, so let's see what they're going to do here. They're going to throw the Rock Slide, so I'm assuming they're going to throw back to back here. Rock Slide comes through. Now he switches out into Gyarados. So I'm going to throw this Dragon Claw. And at this point, Articuno is the better match here against Machamp, but against Gyarados, but I bring in Machamp only for one reason, and that is this team, I'm going to need something to counter Cresselia if he has it in the back, and Articuno is going to have a much better matchup than Machamp. But the risk in bringing in Machamp here is that I might lose switch advantage now, and that's not good either. So, not optimal. Going to build up for the Rock Slide, throw the Cross Chop, we do get the shield, but as you can see here, we're going to lose switch unless he lets the next charge will go through. I shield this just to ensure that if I do lose switch, I at least get both shields. And I'm going to throw the Rock Slide to ensure that if he doesn't shield, it knocks him out. But most likely they're going to shield here, take control of switch advantage, and we get farmed down. So not the best situation. I actually bring back in Giratina and I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw, which will knock out the Gyarados here. And let's see what his last Pokemon is going to be. So it is Cresselia, as we anticipated. That's why I saved the Articuno there, because if we had Machamp in the back now, we'd be pretty much done. Can't really do anything to Cresselia. So Shadow Sneak comes through. Switch into the Articuno now. And this should likely be a Moonblast here. Moonblast comes through. And he switches out into the Melmetal. Now this is pretty bad for us, so I have to shield this up. This is the problem with losing the switch advantage there against the Gyarados, because Articuno literally can't do anything to this Melmetal, and I'm stuck in here. There's no way I'm going to get out of this matchup because he's going to get to Rock Slide before the switch timer's up. So I'm just trying to lower the attack here. And I think at this point, after I go down, my only play is to farm down with Giratina and hope that 2 Shadow Sneaks are enough to knock out that Cresselia. So Rock Slide's going to come through here. It is debuffed, so it's not going to be enough to knock us out, obviously. And I don't think his switch timer's up yet, so I should be able to farm down. We are able to farm down completely, so we have a lot of energy here. We're going to get to 2 Shadow Sneaks for sure. The question is this going to be enough to knock out the Cresselia? So the first Shadow Sneak's going to come through. You can see it's not going to be enough. I'm going to need some Shadow Claws here, so this is going to be really close. He has to throw energy because he cannot Psycho Cut me down. He's probably right there. We are going for the Shadow Claw and we just get there. Just literally like 0.5 HP. He survives. Gonna get off the Grass Knot, not even the Moonblast. So if he had Future Sight, he would have actually lost that match. So very interesting. That Grass Knot there ended up winning the game. Warrior MSB here up next. You could see it change the daytime here, early morning. These battles were taking forever to find at this point. This is from a few days ago. Swampert lead, again, amazing lead for Giratina. And we're gonna build up for the Dragon Claw. We get a little bit of lag there, which is unfortunate, but it didn't look like it affected much. We did still get the energy. So I'm gonna throw the Dragon Claw here at the Swampert. And whenever Swampert stays in here, they're like never baiting pretty much. They're almost always throwing Earthquake. So I actually don't shield this time. But if he chooses to stay in, I'd have to shield the second one. Switches out into Granbull. So unfortunately, I throw this Dragon Claw. So good switch on their part. And now we're going to switch out into the Articuno here. And this is the Charm version. Articuno is going to win this match. Just have to land this first Icy Wind. It's very important that whenever you face a Charmer, you throw the Icy Wind as soon as you get it, because you need the Charm damage reduced immediately. Otherwise, if you wait a few turns, that could be the difference between losing the match with Articuno. So this is likely going to be a close combat. It's actually a crunch. Okay, that's fine. I choose to shield that. Gonna throw another Icy Wind here. And if he lets this go through, it's going to KO. And the opponent chooses to let it go through, so that's good. So we have switch advantage. We both have a shield left. He brings in Swampert, trying to get to this Icy Wind, but he's going to beat us to the Hydro Cannon for sure. So at this point, I don't think there's really any points to shield, but I do shield, okay. So let's see what my plan is here. So I switch back out into Giratina. So I'm saving that Articuno there because I'm assuming that at this time I was figuring he had something weak to Articuno in the back. And it turns out it's Tangrowth, so I obviously was much more into the game at the time of playing it than I am now, looking at it again. So here comes Tangrowth. Rock Slide comes through, it's going to knock us out. This is still a very tricky spot because Tangrowth has access to Rock Slide. So I'm going to throw the Icy Wind. And we are actually in a very tricky situation here. Let's see if we could farm down before he gets to the move. Most likely not. Wow, we are able to farm down before he gets to the Rock Slide. Lose CMP Tire against the Swampert, but this is fine because we should be able to just farm down, I think, at this point. Because, yeah, Hydro Cannon's not going to KO, and neither is Earthquake. He's going to have to land 2 of them. So unless he has back-to-back right now, which is impossible because he threw on the Articuno, we're going to be able to farm down here and take this matchup with the opponent still having a shield. So you can see they're actually saving that Articuno was very important to beat that Tangrowth. So Legend of Cage up next in match number 5. And leading Giratina into Alolan Muck. So okay, now we see a negative lead. Obviously Alolan Muck against Shadow Claw. Giratina is very positive for them. So I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw here. And then I'm going to switch out. Bringing in the Machamp. Okay, so I'm putting my team, well, I'm putting the team a little bit at risk in case he's a Registeel, because then I would have to rely on the Giratina in the back to beat that Registeel, which is a little bit difficult depending on the shield situation. Fortunately for us, he actually brings in a Scavalier, which isn't the best counter to Machamp. So I'm assuming that his team might be quite weak to Machamp in the back. So I'm going to throw the Cross Drop here, he gets the shield. And at this point, obviously, we're going to shield this too because we want to take control of switch advantage. Drill Run comes through. And going to look to farm down here before he gets to another charge move. We're able to do it. He brings in the Muck. So whatever he has in the back is obviously very weak to Machamp. Might be a Registeel. So we're going to throw the Cross Chop here. At this point, I think it would have made sense for me to actually switch out and have preserved this Machamp. But I didn't do that, so I think that's actually going to be a mistake here. Because once he brings in the Muck, it's pretty obvious that he doesn't want the last Pokemon to see that Machamp. And I had a decent amount of health on it, so I should have probably preserved it. Switched out into the Giratina, not the Giratina, the Articuno. And it's actually a Lapras, so that makes a lot of sense because Lapras obviously does not want to see Machamp. So what I'm doing here is actually lowering the attack on this Lapras first, as opposed to last time. And basically my only win condition here would be to go for Ancient Power and hope to get the boost. So we're going to go for the Ancient Power here. And basically, yeah, the only win condition is to get the boost on the Ancient Power. And we get it. So comes at the right time. Everything is going right. Obviously at this point I'm going to be shielding this because Articuno with the boost is actually going to be doing a lot of damage here. Ancient Power going to come through. This is going to do substantially more damage now to Lapras. Still not enough to knock it out, of course, but we do get the shield. And And the opponent here actually I think will beat us to Surf, but he actually switches out into Muck. And I think this was an error on their part because with the boosted defense and the boosted attack from Ice Shard, we're going to be able to farm down the Muck there. And now we have energy for the Ancient Power onto the Lapras. And now I could switch into the Giratina. And look how much health I have on Giratina. Basically, Ice Beam is not going to KO in this range. Dragon Claw is going to be enough. And we're going to win this game thanks to the boost. And fortunately for us, getting the boost is one part, but you still have to finish off the game after getting the boost. And I think we played it correctly there, although the opponent did make an error in switching onto Muck, which helped us as well. I think if he just stayed with the Lapras, he would have been able to get to the Surf first and knock out the Articuno. We do go 4-1 in this set, and we move up in rating. And in the next video, we're going to start taking a look at the teams I'm using currently, featuring a double ice strategy. So stay tuned for those videos. So overall, you can see Giratina is literally one of the best leads in all of Ultra League. And it's going to win you a lot of matches just because it's going to maintain switch advantage for you. If you could line that up with a very strong core in the back, you're going to win a lot of games, and most of the time you'll be going positive in your sets. You just need to provide a very solid backline for the Giratina lead. Now obviously when Giratina loses the lead, a lot of times it's hard to come back from it because when it loses, it's a very hard loss, something like a Charmer, or an ice type like Articuno. So it's there's a little risk involved, but the thing is, the majority of times you're going to win the lead with it. So if you're seeing that you're facing a lot of Melmetals, Escavaliers, Giratinas, whatever it is, go with something that counters what you're seeing the most. For me, Giratina performs really well because most of what I see is countered by Giratina. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.